Hi everyone, John here from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And I want to touch on a topic that I've talked about before, but I think it's worth talking about again. And that's how long does it take to do a thorough, comprehensive home inspection in an average size house? And the reason I want to talk about this is that I would say probably 80% of the time when I'm doing a home inspection, one of the agents is going to have a problem with how long the inspection is actually taking. I don't know why they have a problem, but most of the issue is with the buyer's agent, believe it or not. So I'm working for your client, and yet you have a problem with how long I'm taking to do the home inspection. I don't really understand that. So here in New Jersey, a home inspection should take about 3 to 4 hours to perform on an average size house. And if you're calling home inspectors and they're giving you, something like, oh, it's going to take 90 minutes, it's going to take, 2 hours to do the home inspection. Frankly, you can't do a thorough, comprehensive home inspection, do the reporting, answer all your clients' questions, look at that house top to bottom in 90 minutes or even 2 hours. I got to be frankly, sometimes it takes me an hour just to do the outside of a home. And then we come in and do the basement. I mean, you just can't do it. I'm going to do an hour on the outside. I'm going to do maybe 45 minutes in the basement, maybe. And then I have 45 minutes to do the whole house, the whole balance of the house, including the attic space. So look, we shouldn't be rushing as home inspectors. So I don't understand where this idea of 90-minute home inspections has come into play, or even 2-hour home inspections has come into play. You can't possibly doing the job correctly with your client, observing you, asking you questions, addressing their needs and their questions, doing the proper reporting, taking the photos, examining all of the issues that you have to examine as a home inspector here in New Jersey, in 90 minutes. So agents, just be more tolerant. I don't understand the rush. I don't understand the apprehensiveness. I know it's a difficult real estate market, but your client deserves a good and thorough home inspector, an inspection. Look, they've researched us, right? They've done their homework. They've chosen who they want to do the home, be their home inspector. Just let that home inspector do his or her job accordingly without being rushed. Budget for that 3 hours, 3.5 hours over at the home. Why do you even budgeting for 90 minutes or 2 hours? It's unrealistic. So what I'm asking you to do is be more tolerant to us home inspectors who actually do the job correctly and want to take their time and do an excellent product for their client. I mean, that's how our reputation is on the line, right? My client doesn't want me to just shine a flashlight around for 45 minutes to an hour. They want me to actually do the job. And that's what we're here to do, is to do the job. So if you're considering a home inspector, you're buying a house in New Jersey, ask the question, how long does your home inspection take? If it's 90 minutes, if it's 2 hours, that's probably not enough time to do the job correctly. What you want to hear is 3 hours, 3.5 hours, sometimes 4 hours, or better yet, however long it takes to do it correctly. How's that sound? The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is doing a home inspection on a house that you're thinking about listing or selling. And that's what we call doing a pre-sales home inspection or a pre-listing inspection. Well, why would you do that? Because hiring a comprehensive and thorough home inspector on a house that you're thinking about buying is going to bring to light issues in that home that you don't know about. So if I go into a home and I'm doing a pre-sales inspection, I'm going to do that home inspection top to bottom, just like if you were purchasing that home, right? So that's going to be a full comprehensive inspection. So you as a seller of a house can get in front of some of the problems that we're going to find as home inspectors, right? So it gives you an idea of what's going to come up when your buyer does their home inspection. And I think that's really good information to know, especially in today's marketplace, because the last thing you want to do is have a home inspector come in, find these issues that you don't know about, and then that torpedoes the sale of your house. So why not be proactive and find out the problems that exist before you put the house on for sale, before you put the house on the market for sale? And I think this is really important. Now, this pre-sales inspection isn't for everybody. It's not for every, home seller, because you kind of have to be okay with us coming in, home inspectors coming into your house and finding, some stuff wrong. Now, it's hard to hear about some stuff that's going on in your house that is not up to snuff, or there's problems with this or problems with that. It's actually hard to do it because it's emotional. You lived in that house for so long. But if you find a way to detach yourself from this process and just really garner that information that the home inspector is giving you, you will have a leg up basically on the competition or the other homes for sale in your general area. So there is one caveat with this, is that once we do a home inspection and you become aware of some deficiencies that you weren't aware of before, you really have to disclose those to the future buyers of the house unless you go ahead and rectify them. So think about doing a pre-sales home inspection. I think the positives certainly outweigh the negatives because it's going to tell you exactly what's going on with your house. It's going to alleviate surprises. It's going to help you potentially fix those problems before you put the house on the market. And it's going to bring to light the smaller, little nuanced things that are going to come up on a home inspection report with your buyer. And if you could get in front of those things, those small items, those ticky-tack type items, maybe there's 15 or 20 of those small little issues, and you could easily rectify those problems before your buyer's home inspector comes in, because that buyer's then going to look at your house and say, wow, this person really maintained this house, and I'm really happy about the maintenance track record on the home. They really did the extra mile, and there's not a lot going on wrong, even in those small and medium-sized deficiencies. So think about that. It also allows you to possibly price the home, better or more efficiently for the marketplace, given the conditions that exist in the home. Now, some agents are going to probably push back on that, but why not know the home's true condition before you put it up? And then you can basically adjust your price accordingly with the conditions that exist. If there's major problems, maybe you want to drop the price to reflect those major problems. And this way you get more activity in the home that you're thinking about or possibly selling. So anyway, guys, don't not do a pre-sales inspection. It's not for everybody. But if you're the type of person who really wants to get ahead of the curve and be proactive, really consider doing a pre-sales or pre-listing home inspection. And a good, thorough New Jersey home inspector can certainly accomplish that task for you. Now here, the balance of this video is going to be just some defects. And the majority of these defects were found in a house that I did a pre-listing inspection for. And I got to be honest, there's a lot here. And there's a lot here that the seller of the home wasn't aware about. So, this is something that brings to light some problems so you know exactly what's going to come up before you list the home. So let's take a look at these defects and see what we have. Looking at this brick veneer house right here, and if we look closely, we see some horizontal cracking developing here. Horizontal crack here goes down the wall, right? So you would say to yourself, oh, this is not a big deal. It's just minor cracking, but not so much. If we look over here, we have a big stair step crack right through here. So with this evidence, this tells me that this portion of the home right here is settling at a faster rate. So we have a differential movement type of situation here, and this is structural in nature. If we move over here, and this is concerning to me, is we have a much bigger crack. So we have a horizontal crack here, goes into a stair step. On the opposite side of the window, we have another crack. So this is movement that is not normal or expected. So this is something that an engineer is really going to have to take a look at, because I, as a home inspector, don't know if this is going to get worse over time. But if you're looking at a home or you have a house yourself, you have a brick veneer outside, you do really want to make sure that you look for all of this cracking and make sure that you don't have any movement like this here. So this is indicative of a structural problem at this right rear corner exterior of this home. This is the same house with the exterior wall cracking. This is a rear porch. We see really significant sloping of this back porch, coupled with a big crack here, so our porch is moving this way, significant slope. So we have a soils issue, some type of engineering problem here. And we know that because we have significant cracking of the right rear corner of the structure, coupled with this. So this is not anywhere near normal movement or normal settlement. So I'm going to recommend an engineer be brought in here to assess this damage and to determine if this is going to get worse and how to fix it or cure it. If you're thinking about buying a house and you have these major structural concerns, you may want to look elsewhere. You may want to try to find a different house, because these issues here are significant and they're going to be expensive to cure and to fix. So be careful with stuff like this. Look for significant sloping of porches and cracking of the exterior foundation when you're thinking about buying a home, or even in a home that you're living in. Believe it or not, the cause of this back porch failure could be that we have a negative pitch right here of this walkway, coupled with the downspouts not being directed away. So over 30 years or so of this water just running here and going negatively grading back to the porch can really cause our footings to settle and drop. And that could be what's causing this porch to rotate away from the house. So downspouts, although a simple fix, but I want you guys to look for this. If you see downspouts that are discharging close to the home or porch or different type of structure, and we have a negative grade of the walkway, those downspouts really have to be extended away. And walkways, I know it looks fine, but although we have a negative grade here, our water is just going to collect along the structure here of this porch, causing problems long term like we have. So simple things can add up to big expenses when you're buying a house. Do you guys see this rust happening on these breakers right here, this rust and corrosion? So we open these panel boxes, and one of the things that we look for is this kind of corrosion on the circuit breakers. And so typically this type of moisture is entering the box. This type of moisture is usually caused by a breach somewhere in the main service wire or at the top of the meter pan on the exterior. So the meter pan seal was good on the outside, but something obviously is going on here, and obviously we don't want to mix high moisture with electrical because it's unsafe. So this is something that an electrical contractor should take a further look at and determine the source of the moisture and then correct it to avoid this hazard. Eventually everything will become rusted in here, including the bus bars, and then a new panel box would be necessary as a replacement. One of the things that we have to look at as home inspectors is venting of the gas appliances, of the oil-fired appliances. This is a gas water heater, sidewall vented, high efficiency unit. But look at this. This is not even close to being correct, and even if it was, it's not even making it to the outside. So all we're doing is depositing carbon monoxide into the home, which is deadly gas. So this for sure has to be corrected, and this is also very much of a telltale sign of amateur and non-professional work, of course. But if you don't get the venting right on these gas appliances, you can literally kill somebody. They'll go to sleep and not wake up. Just sounding this wood. This is a sill plate in a garage, and it sounds hollow to me. It sounds hollow. So when you have a sill plate like that, that sounds hollow, it is likely to be termite damage. So that's something we're going to have to look into a little bit further. I want to open this up a little bit and just determine if there's anything going on in here. Of course there is, but I want to check this for termites. We're going to make sure that this is either termites or wood rot, one or the other. But when you sound the wood and it sounds hollow like that, it's likely to be a problem. Of course, either termites or wood rot. Likely to be termites because the exterior of this wood is not compromised yet. The problem is deep inside the wood, and that's generally a termite issue. So here we have a little ejector pump. This is being used as a sink pump, basically. Ran water at the kitchen sink. We obviously have a leak here, so this is going to have to be corrected for sure. These pumps have to be properly vented to the main sewer line or to a sewer line vent correctly by a plumbing contractor. We can't just stick an AAV at the end of this vent pipe and call it a day. That's not allowed. Can't do that. So this is something that's going to have to be reconfigured by a plumbing contractor, or probably in this case replaced. So leakage and poor venting. 2 oil tank supply lines coming in from the foundation wall from the exterior right through here. Rule of thumb, 2 lines generally means we had or have an outside tank. 1 line, generally, rule of thumb, we have an interior tank. You see these 2 lines coming out of a foundation wall or a basement floor slab, you are likely to have had or have an oil tank on the property. So look for this if you're thinking about buying a home or in your own home. You see, especially in these older homes, we look for these oil tank supply lines. We're going to recommend an oil tank location sweep be performed here to determine if there's anything to worry about on the outside of the home. Given the condition of the house, I bet you there is. So here we have a sump pump discharge line right here. So this piping down to a sump pump, it actually pumps the water into the sanitary sewer right here. Generally, this is not allowed because we can actually overrun the sanitary sewer. So if you take, for example, say 4 or 5 homes on this block had this type of configuration for the sump pump, all that water being pumped in the sanitary sewer can actually overrun the sewer lines. And we can have a backup or backflow in here, which can cause an unsanitary condition. So most municipalities don't allow this type of configuration. So sump pumps should be routed either to a dry well on the exterior of the home below ground, or away from the home, far enough away so they don't so the discharge doesn't interfere with the foundation walls and actually cause more water infiltration problems than they solve. So this is something that's going to have to be corrected. We don't want to see a sump pump entering into a sanitary sewer line. We'll see these temporary screw jack columns in homes used as permanent support all the time. So this is a telescoping column. So any column that you can adjust that goes up and down, that's considered a temporary column. You see how thin it is? And these are not designed for permanent support of a structural load here under this beam. So we always have to call these out because they're just not made to be in homes, for the long term. They're here just for temporary support. But of course, if you wrap yours in wallpaper, that makes everything much better. And so we'll probably leave this one alone because it's so pretty. Sometimes these electrical service wires will go bad. In this case, we just see the exterior here just has some paint chipping and peeling. But as home inspectors, this is something that we're going to look at, is the main electrical service wire to the home. And also we're going to look at this seal right here. So this is a duct seal, and this is an important seal on top of your meter pan, because what it does is it prevents water from collecting right on top of this meter pan nut right here and entering into the meter pan and actually fouling the electrical service, in this case that's located in the basement. So we want to make sure that this is not brittle and that this sealant right here is in good condition. So take a look at your sealant also at your home and make sure that it's in good condition, just so we don't get any water in here. Water in here can cause you thousands of dollars of damage and actually cause electrical shock hazards if water or moisture is entering your panel box. This is like a $8 worth of putty, maybe less, and that would solve a few thousands of dollars of problems in your electrical panel box.